Hello, everyone, and welcome to the League Prediction Show. This is LTA Finals Edition because it is time for LTA Finals this weekend. We have 3 teams left in Shopify, Cloud9, and FlyQuest. We're going to see how these games go over the next couple of days. Thank you so much to Prize Picks for making this show possible. This show is all because of them. We would not be doing it without them, so thank you to Prize Picks. And this is a show, if you haven't tuned in before, where we make predictions about how we think matches are going to go, and then we use some of the Prize Picks set up over here to have our actual guests, our candidates here, make some lineups that we'll be submitting to play through Prize Picks. So thank you to Prize Picks for making that happen. Let me go ahead and check in with everybody. And I think what we'll do is, as I introduce each of you or call on you, you can all let me know what your surprises have been of finals and playoffs so far, and what you've enjoyed of it so far. What's got you excited for this weekend, I guess, is another good thing we can add in. So Cubby, how are you doing? What do you thought of playoffs so far?
I'm doing well. I'm in between LPL broadcasts as I'm on the last 2 days of LPL, so that's been fun. Had a fun series last night, have finals tomorrow night. Of course, we're going to focus more on the LTA North. Frank, this surprise might be a little bit out of left field. I'm excited for the trophy. I think that Riot and their hardware is unmatched. And yet again, they have produced a very nice trophy for the north and south. I think that it's themed well. There's a color that kind of separates the two. And I was actually really impressed by it. I always am impressed by the trophies that Riot has. But I feel like the hardware they unleash and give to the winners is always spot on. I feel like they nailed it again. So, yeah.
Kangas, how are you doing? What have you thought of
That's a
playoffs?
sick-looking trophy, dude.
What have you thought of playoffs so far, Kangas?
Sorry, I had you muted because I was getting an echo through you, but now I'm just going to have to deal with that.
Of course.
All right. Sorry, what was the question, Travis?
What have you thought of playoffs, Kangas?
Okay, playoffs have been fun. I am very happy for the Shopify Rebellion lower bracket run because that has made things very exciting. I know it's tough. There's a lot of Team Liquid fans out there, so seeing them lose, I know stings for them. But I think it's really cool for the league that we have this kind of underdog story to get behind these guys. That there's just so much history behind everybody on this team. All of them have won championships in various regions, and now they get to make a deeper run again here for players like Palafox and Contracts, who were the ones that took down C9 last time in finals, which is cool. Like Fudge was on C9 last time they won. So there's a lot of storylines for them with their C9 match too. And it just feels like we're getting a little magic, some of that underdog magic in the LTA. So that's by far my favorite story of the playoffs so far.
Awesome. And then finally, we're joined once more by Mahir. Mahir, what have you thought of playoffs so far?
So first of all, I apologize for the really scuffed setup. I think playoffs have been really interesting because coming into even before Split 1, I envisioned Shopify to kind of be this dark horse team, but they struggled for 90% of the season so far, and they've really picked it up in the past 2 weeks. And a lot of their strengths are the strengths that I envisioned they would have. I think having Fudge, he's a very cerebral player. We saw it the way he approached flanking versus Team Liquid. Yon was so incredibly strong in that Aphelios game. And he's playing Aatrox, which isn't the best flanker in the game, but it felt like they just knew how to approach the game. It felt like their veteran experience really showed. So even though I am a FlyQuest fan through and through, I will be cheering for Shopify in this series.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Nice.
Well, regardless, I do want to say before we get into our predictions that, as I mentioned, this is sponsored by Prize Picks. I have a fun little video here that we'll play that will just kind of give people an idea of how you can play Prize Picks if you would like, and give you an understanding of what we're talking about when we talk about the squares that we're picking and all that type of stuff. So we'll get into the predictions in just a moment, but here is a Prize Picks video first.
This video is brought to you by Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching your favorite esports or sports. So I'm going to show you right now how this works on the app. It's super easy to use. So maybe I like Jojo Pyun at more than 9.5 deaths over the first 3 games of his series. And maybe I believe Mickey X is going to get less than 31 assists. I'll go ahead and hit finalize lineup, where it'll show me that if both these things end up coming true and I play an entry fee of, let's say, $20, I'm going to end up winning $60. Prize Picks is available in over 40 states, including California and Texas. And if you sign up, use that link below. It's a big thing that you can do to help me. You can use code TRAVIS whenever you make your first lineup of $5 or more. Win or lose, they're going to give you $50. Now, please only choose to play Prize Picks if you can do so responsibly, but doing so and signing up does help my channel very much. And you can actually join the discussion with other TGI viewers in my Discord. We have a Prize Picks channel. If you're trying to get into it, that's a great place to start. So thanks so much to Prize Picks for sponsoring this piece of content.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, really appreciate you for checking out the Prize Pick stuff. There's a link in the description if you're watching the VOD for this video, but I also just put one into the Twitch chat if you're watching live, so you can go sign up over there. Use code Travis. It's really helpful. So I thought that what we would do is before we get into making our lineups, because it is finals weekend, I would go around and get predictions from all of you on how you think things are going to go in terms of who's going to win tomorrow's match, because obviously before we get to the finals and Flycast, we have to figure out who's playing them, and who's going to win in how many games, and then also, you know, how you expect that match to go on Sunday between that team and FlyQuest. So, Cubby, I know I can always rely on you. What do you got for me? What are your predictions for this weekend?
I have a C9 3-2 tomorrow into a FlyQuest 3-1.
Okay. All right. Wait, it sounds like I've been impressed, and I understand why, with how much hype SR is getting, because I feel like if you had suggested I know you're picking C9, but I feel like weeks ago if people had thought, you know, SR could push C9 to a 3-2, that would be crazy. So yeah, you've gotten a lot of faith, I guess.
I think Contract's been playing really well, and if any jungler outside of Inspired has had Blabber's number in the league, I think the Contracts has had some really nice series against him historically. So I'm hoping that for SR's sake, we can see some of that and get a good series tomorrow. So yeah, I actually feel like SR, like kind of what Mihir was going off of, they definitely have come together in the last couple of weeks. And I think that if they show up again tomorrow, then yeah, it can be an interesting series.
All right, Kangas, what you got?
Classic Gubby. Given the vanilla ice cream, the white bread answer, the nothing
3-2.
interesting.
3-2 is closer than most.
C9 win into FlyQuest win. Oh, revolutionary.
Okay, FlyQuest, yeah,
Stuff here, Cubby.
that's fair. What do you got?
Okay, C9 should win. Let's be honest. I think expectation-wise, like they should be favorites here. But man, there is something magical about what's happening with Shopify Rebellion right now, and it makes you really want to believe. So this one's actually really hard for me to tell. I'm gonna go with my heart and say Shopify Rebellion, but that is not my brain, you know, following suit of saying like a big reason why. Other than just I think Palafox has really stepped up, and if he can keep playing like this level of Palafox, that was the weakness of the team. And why they were, you know, him in Contracts also like in late game situations, just throwing away leads and then not being able to close out games. They've gotten better closing games. They're not getting picked in the late game nearly as much. So if they can play the early game and mid game as well as they had been, and Palafox stepping up a little bit more, I actually think that they have a shot. So I'll go Shopify Rebellion to make things interesting, even though, yes, it should be C9. But
in how many games?
I'll go a full 5. I think Shopify Rebellion good for 5 games there.
All right. So then, do you continue to believe in Shopify Rebellion on Sunday?
Oh, no shot. No way. The FlyQuest is going to smash whoever matches up against them in the finals. I think it's going to be like a 3-0.
Okay. So you said either team. You think no matter which team makes it, you think FlyQuest smashes them 3-0?
I think so. Yeah. FlyQuest is just that much better than the other teams. I know that C9 just made FlyQuest work for it, but I think that, you know, I don't imagine happening twice. Like we remember the last time they match up in the best of 3s also.
Yeah, I don't think FlyQuest played great in that day. I don't think they brought their best stuff. So,
all right. Finally, we have Mihir, who Basil in chat is claiming is in jail right now. But Mihir, what? Hopefully the jailer is polite to you. What would you predict over the next 2 days?
So I think it's funny that Kangas referred to Cubby's prediction as white bread, because I think it's closer to sourdough. And the thing about sourdough is it's pretty good for your gut. And I'm going to go ahead and trust my gut and say C9 is going to win. I think it's not that one-sided. I know Cubby mentioned a 3-2. Yeah. I think there's a couple win cons for SR. I think SR has a tendency to put Fudge really behind in draft and leave him on an island and give him no resources. If they can avoid giving him a bad matchup into a laner that is as good as Thanatos, and I think if top lane can come out neutral, I just think the way that SR plays as a unit is a little bit more cohesive than C9. I think Blabber showed a lot of times where he's on a different page. Specifically, the game where Whippo played Set, he played Maokai and delivered the throw on a platter. I think there's certain times when C9, is a little bit asynchronous. So I do think that it is still C9, but I'm still going to go with the 3-2. It's not white bread. It's definitely sourdough.
Okay.
Right.
I'm surprised we all have this series as close as we do, because I feel like, would be more C9 favorite is what Travis is pointing towards. Travis, what do you have for this weekend?
No.
Oh, wait.
Before we
need
move
the
on
finals.
to Travis, I got to call some
But
out
here's
here.
that FlyQuest. It's fine.
Did Mihir just say Thanatos instead of Thanatos? Did I hear that right?
It's fine. It's fine. This guy had a way better entrance than you, Kangas.
I think he hangs out with Sniper because Sniper also calls him Thanatos.
It was, you're just straight flaming me. He tied in your take into sourdough bread and his own take. All right, and then you have to give him flack for that. I feel like
what do you think finals is going to be again, Mahir?
I still, assuming C9 does beat Shopify, I still think FlyQuest is pretty favored. If C9 cannot win with the drafts they had, it is beyond screwed. The Church of FlyQuest is going to continue its reign. FlyQuest 3-1 finals.
FlyQuest 3-1. Okay, so you think about it. What do I have? Cubby asked. I do think that C9 will win tomorrow. I agree that this Shopify sort of path has reminded me a little bit of the NRG series or the NRG run to lifting the trophy back in the day. But I feel like the train will stop now, and then we'll see if it can pick back up again in the summer, or in Split 3, I guess I should say. So I think I'm just gonna be bold. I'm gonna say C9 3-0 tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know because I think
I can see it happening. Thanatos their best player.
I think C9 and FlyQuest are on another level from the rest of the league. I think. As much as I've enjoyed the Shopify Cinderella run, I do think that they've faced some teams that were having some issues or were weaker or whatever. I think that now the real challenge will come, and I don't expect them to do as well. But I will say, if I end up being wrong, it'll be because the Church of Demonte is too strong, and whatever he does to Palafox to get that guy to perform, I think is interesting.
Whisperer.
And then I do think we will get a 3-2 series in the finals between C9 and Fly, with Fly winning, because I think that those teams are pretty good. I think C9 will have probably learned a lot, and I think we'll have an epic 5-game series before the end of the weekend. So we'll see what ends up happening, but I'm excited for it, and I'm hoping for is we don't just get 2 3-0s, because I know that's we've had a hard time really enjoying Fearless, and we need to get some exciting matches. So hopefully that's what ends up happening this weekend. All right. Without further ado, I think it's time for us to transition over to making our prize picks predictions. Now, what's interesting about this is that we unfortunately are limited currently to tomorrow's match. And so I think this is kind of nice because people can make some lineups with the matches from tomorrow, and then they can think for themselves on what they would like to do or change, or whatever they learn tomorrow about how things are going before we see the FlyQuest matchup. So here's some predictions, some lineups for tomorrow's match on Saturday, and then we'll get you'll have to all share in the Discord chat, the Prize Picks Discord chat, what your predictions are and your lineups are for on Sunday. So let's start off with Cubby. I've gone with you first every time, so I'm going to go with Cubby, you first again. What is the lineup that you have for us this time?
All right. There is a square that I really like, and I'm curious what the gang thinks. But for me, all of us, except for Travis, have pitched that we feel like C9 versus SR could be close. I think the Shopify Rebellion, they are responsible for some of the longest games of the split. They had long games against FlyQuest in that series. The Dignitas, they went gold, silver, and bronze in terms of long games. The fact that Seus, his assist square is sitting at 21.5, I love taking more. All we need is just one slot fest or one Shopify win of the first 3 games, and I feel like that's it. You know, and this cleans up. So I really like this square. The other square I actually like the most is BDD more than 10 kills, but we have to stay to LTA for this one. That'll be my shout out to what LCK has.
I think it's a fun little bonus if people feel like adding a BDD square in. You were saying more than 10 kills.
It is. I'm
Yeah.
about it.
All right.
The other one that I don't love. Oh, it was actually contracts more than 6.5 kills.
Mm.
Okay.
I do think that carries have been somewhat important for SR on this run with contracts. Like usually he's an enabler, but I love when he gets the Lilia angle. I know like Zin's gonna be really high prio, likely in the series too. So again, if we get one close game or one game that goes long, I feel like his ability to hit this is not bad. So this is gonna be worse payout because it's two of the same team, which is why I paired it with BDD.
Yeah. So if
but
people want to,
yeah,
because that we should say it's tough in these situations because you have to pick from a very limited pool, and so it's just the odds end up being a little different. But if but Cubby's pro tip is pair it with the BDD more play,
more than 10.
so that more than 10, so that you can hopefully end up min maxing if that's what you're looking for. So
yeah, the KT might win. I do believe in KT a bit. Usually that's dangerous, but that's gonna be a really fun series.
All right. So, as always, I'd love to hear from you, Kangas and Mahir, on what you think of Cubby's lineup here.
I like. Sorry, Mahir. I'm just gonna hop in first. I like that you specify Shopify Rebellion have long games because that factors into one of the other ones that I was gonna pick. So the assists, I hadn't even like really paid attention to the assists, but honestly, for like all the Shopify players, you could probably assume a high assist counts based on just how their games typically go. So I think that one's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, Mahir, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Cubby's take on the fact that they do have some of the longest games. I mean, it's not really a take, that's a fact. And I think because of, as Kangas mentioned, the nature of their games, any assist line for the most part, or any assist more or less is pretty safe.
We're having a quick, sorry, 1 second, Mahir. That we have Video Ninja going crazy. I'm refreshing you. Okay.
Cool.
You're saying any assist should be good. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I said any of these assist lines are pretty solid. Some are obviously better than others. I actually had two that weren't the safest one, and I'm sure we'll get into that whenever we get to my turn.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, I don't normally tend to weigh in on these as much, but I do really like the contract square in particular because I do feel like if people, there's a lot of Shopify hopium, I think, out there, even just in terms of like, folks think that you could end up with a 5-game series, and if you are, that means that Shopify is winning at least one of these early matches. And I think Contracts has been playing very, very well, so the idea that he's instrumental in one of these games and does really well, I think is a safe play, a play that I enjoy. So let's continue on with Kangas. Kangas, what do you got for us?
Man, I feel like we're gonna have a lot of Shopify takes instead of C9 takes, because there's one in particular I noticed that is total kills in the games 1 through 3. Seos 1.5. Am I reading that right? Expectation is 1.5 across 3 games. So all he has to do is get 2 kills in 3 games.
I like it, Kangas. Just it's chaotic, Why not?
What are the odds that doesn't happen? I know he's got a really low kill ratio in general. Like before playoffs, it was like 0.3, like really low. So technically that won't even make it in the 3 games. But then in playoffs, he's been against mostly worse teams, but even against FlyQuest, it was pretty good. He's racked up a couple. And I think even like he had a 2-kill Nami game. He had a 2-kill like Melio game recently.
Yeah, I'm looking.
He just needs to get 2 kills in 3 games. Like that is not unrealistic for a support. I think that's crazy, and I'm definitely going above that for Seos. I think that's an easy lock-in.
Hey, you know what,
Awesome.
Kangas? I'm gonna add on to that.
Okay.
Oh wait, we aren't in the right patch for it. Never mind. Spellbook's not buffed on the playoff patch. That actually matters. Like, I think Spellbook actually helps.
Yeah.
You can snag Ignite in some games where you don't have it.
Sure, and I know that he also does play a lot of things like the Leona, like the Rel, like the Alistair, more of these engage tools. But he pulled out the Nico recently, and Nico has games where she just pops off and gets a bunch of kills to support
Nico,
also.
sure.
So I'm like, I think that Seos, it's very, very realistic world that he gets more than 1.5 kills. So which again, it's just like 2 kills. All he needs is 2 in 3 games.
It's a real chaotic one, but I respect it.
All right, what else you got for us? We need another square, Kangas.
Another square. Again, a lot of
you have to run 2 at least.
I'm looking at So I do expect Shopify, or I expect C9 to be favored in this series. I'm voting with the heart saying Shopify win it. But even if Shopify struggle, let's say in like the first 2 games and just push us to a game 4, and that's all we get, the first 3 is still what we're scoring off of here.
Yes.
So I'm actually looking at the Fudge Contracts Palafox kill combo at 21.5. All it takes is one good game, and they get that. And then like in the 2 losses, they just need to have like a kill each. That's 6 total, and then 15.5 for that one pop off game. Like I actually think that that one's pretty likely, even if we have a rough performance from Shopify in the first couple of games. But let's imagine Shopify has the first 2 good games and C9 has to try and reverse sweep, or it's like 1-1 and then Shopify wins the second one. That only increases that odds. But like even if they have 2 losses and 1 win, I think that this one you could hit on.
Or even just a series where like C9 has a hard time closing it out. You know, like there's some messy Baron fights or something like that.
It's not KDA, it's just kills. And like, look at it, compare it to the C9. C9 for the top 3, it's got to be 31 instead of 21.5. Like the expectation is so much different that I think that almost a 10-point skew there. It makes me very interested in that one. So I think I'd lock that one into as a more than 21.5 kills. And maybe for C9, you could argue the opposite. If you want to just hedge your bets and go for 2 different teams, you could say lower than 31. For C9, maybe be another way to look at it, but I haven't really thought about those numbers too much. So I'm just going to go with the Shopify Rebellion over 21.5 for Fudge.
Yeah, going more is fun, I think. I understand.
It's always fun.
Pick it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Mahir and Cubby, what do you make of these? I know you kind of weighed in on the
Tear me down.
situation, Cubby, but
So-
either of you have any thoughts on this?
So I know I'm the youngest one here, but I'm a seasoned Prize Picks enjoyer, and taking the more on a support kills, it's like
Chaotic.
it's like leaving the house at 4:30 and not expecting traffic. Like you know what you're doing, and you know you shouldn't do it, but sometimes you still do it. The amount of times I've taken less on a support kill and them getting like a million kills or vice versa, I should be paid compensation for that. I need some kind of compensation from Price.
He just wants to feel something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just living life on the edge.
Yeah.
So I agree with Kangas that SR's lines are way lower than C9, which makes their lines a lot more enticing. And unfortunately, because we can only really select from one series, we kind of have to double up on one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think doubling up on SR is easier. So the 2 I have, I know someone mentioned the contracts over on assists. I agree with that one.
Oh, I'm refreshing Cubbies because we lost. There we go. Yeah.
So I have more on Fudge assists because the reason is I feel like the way they win fights isn't necessarily by Fudge carrying through damage or kills. It's by setting the team up. So obviously his Aatrox game, I believe he had 11 assists. But even if he's on a champion like Ornn or, you know, any other champion that won't be carrying the damage side of things, I think we can expect Fudge to at least get 4 to 5 assists per game, assuming these games do go pretty late. And the same with the contracts, the same line of reasoning. You know, if these games go on to the 40, 50-minute game length we've seen in the series against both Team Liquid as well as FlyQuest, I think we can expect those assist numbers to kind of get stat padded. Yeah. And also, the third one I had was a combination for C9. I think the Loki plus Ven more than 25.5 in 3 maps, I think is a pretty safe bet because when you look at Sven, I think he's the type of player that gets criminally underrated. Like, I think he is probably the 2nd or 3rd best AD carry at the moment, and he plays really well in a lot of these high-pressure moments. I know there's a TSM QSS incident, and I know he choked at times against FlyQuest, but typically he's a more polished veteran player, so I do believe that he will perform pretty well. And when you mix in the Loki, I think the 3 of them can combine for 26 or more in 3 games.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, first off, thank you for picking a C9 square and actually making it so that we didn't just have 6 Shopify squares that we're running on the show. But it's exciting to see what of those come through. All right, Kangas and Cubby, what do you give the analysis on both of these?
I like the low-key Sven square. I think that I didn't talk about this with Kangas's last lineup, but I think taking the top side combo for SR and more, I'm scared of just because of the strength of Thanatos and Loki and the top side is C9. The reason why I like this square though for Mahir and the combo is I think that um the bot lanes are gonna like very much. I think the bot lane is really C9 favored. Like they talked about it, and I do feel like it's gonna land that way. So, I think that's the big one for me.
Yeah, makes sense. I actually really like the assist for Fudge. Just
that
because,
one's I just don't know about that one. You know.
well, if we just look at playoffs, and I know playoffs they've played against weaker teams that they've been able to beat, but in playoffs he's averaging 5.9 assists per game. So he's gonna hit that. Like that's almost 2 games from his average because he only needs 12. So
Yeah.
add in another game, that's almost a shoe. And Thanatos is actually below him, below Fudge at averaging 5.25, and Thanatos' hit is 16 assists in the first 3 maps. So I think like taking Fudge there, yeah.
The interesting thing for me is that Thanatos just more likely to play carries than actually secure kills. So I'm curious if we actually get a series where like we haven't seen the Scion from Thanatos yet, and I mean I assume he can play it because I'm just really surprised if any top laner can't play Scion right now, but it's just not a pick that C9 gravitates towards. I think that Fudge more likely to play tanks like what Mahir, I think he called out Ornn. Like that champ just participates in a lot of kills because you're Ornn. So I feel like that one's real, that we could see Fudge maybe in a little bit more of a supportive and non-carry role where he picks up assists because he's not securing the kills. That's not pulled again.
I feel like Mahir right now. What's the character from The Big Short? Christian Bale's character. I feel like that's who you are right now. You got your hoodie on and like your little AirPods in, talking to us through your shitty camera because you're like, I just love the game, man. Like I'm just here to run the numbers and get money.
Listen, I will be watching the LTA finals on my shitty laptop with my shitty headphones with this exact same jacket. This exact
Hell
same
yeah.
jacket.
Should.
Hell yeah.
I watched the World Finals of T1 Weibo Gaming from my sister's New York City apartment on the couch of the laptop, like on my chest, you know?
Oh, I actually
No
watched that one
headphones.
while driving. Don't do this. Anyone in chat, do not do this.
Oh,
I
that's
was
not
watching
good.
while driving on the highway.
Oh,
'Cause it
that's
was
not
so
good.
We do not
close.
endorse this behavior.
Yeah,
I
we do
did
not
not
endorse this. This is not an official suggestion.
Wait, but here, does that mean you're not going to be live at finals? You're not going to be at the studio?
No, I'm in Texas till the 25th.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's a bummer. All right, well we'll miss him.
Yeah, who would not be live at the finals? That's crazy. I can't imagine.
That's crazy.
All right,
Travis, you there,
so that is the show. Thank you all for coming on and making your predictions, and thank you all for watching. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please let us know in the comments if you're watching over on YouTube. Let us know in the Twitch chat if you're watching live. And if you want to, you can really come in and let us know in the channel on my Discord, discord.gg/Travis. There's a Prize Picks channel that you can go in there. You can share your lineups. You can ask other people for advice on them before you submit them. And especially it's a great place to be because we won't have a chance to do one of these shows before we get to the final match on Sunday. So after tomorrow's matches, whenever the squares go up on Prize Picks and you want to make your lineup, make sure that you go check it out. Cubby,
Also, check it out during the series because if we do get a game 4 or 5, it will post squares for games 4 and 5. So we might talk about it there as well.
True. So go check that out. Love to see people in there chatting through that. And again, use my link to sign up and use the code Travis. That's actually a really great way to do it. And this is kind of fun. You do try for finals, and then we've got MSI right around the corner, and they'll have all sorts of squares up for MSI. So good time to be there. And Kingus, I know you won't be able to be on the MSI episodes, but do want to thank you for coming on and giving your predictions these last couple of episodes.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Next time I'll promise to be more confrontational with Mahir. I feel like I was too buddy with him this time.
True.
We gotta butt heads more.
Yeah, the show runs on drama. That's what it's known for. It's just conflict and drama. So yeah. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on the other side of finals, Hotline League on Monday. Tune in for that.